Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to be doing the last realistic mock draft before the actual NFL draft. So we already did one realistic about a week ago, and then I just put up my fantasy mock draft yesterday. So today we're going to do one final one where I go through and pick every single pick that I believe is going to happen. Now there're going to be no trades, and there's going to be actual trades in the draft, but I think that we're just going to go on the assumption that, let's just say, no trades happen, because my bitch ass does not have enough money to pay for premium. So, I mean, if this channel gets going, then next year we'll see what happens. All right, so number one, Bengals, they've been allotted 3 hours of FaceTime a week with each individual draft prospect, and they spent every single second possible with Joe Burrow. So I'm pretty sure they're just trying to get Joe Burrow used to hanging out with the coaches and stuff. This is a pretty obvious pick. Joe Burrow, number one. Number two, we got the Washington Redskins, and this team is notorious for taking first-round defensive talent. And what better now than to get Chase Young? You have Ryan Kerrigan, who's aging, and then bring Chase Young in and make that team even better on that defensive front. So, again, super simple pick. We've been going with this for a very long time. Number three, again, really boring, but Darius Slay's gone. Gotta replenish the goods. So get Jeff Okudah there. Be able to have a lockdown corner for the next 5 years on a cheap contract, and not on something that pays someone like $18 million a year. So Jeff Okudah is the pick there. Number four, this is where it gets really interesting, because the Giants, we don't know what they're going to do, and they've shown that they like linemen quite a lot, defensive linemen, but the guys who usually don't make the biggest flashy picks in the world. They chose Daniel Jones instead of Dwayne Haskins last year. They're willing to do whatever is right in their mind. And I think Mekhi Becton might be here. But something tells me that they're going to go with the more surefire option, because I don't think they like the little flashy pick. So Jedrick Wills here. I think they're gonna just make sure that Daniel Jones is good. Saquon Barkley having the injury last year, I think, pushes this pick over the top. And so there's rumors that the Dolphins are moving up to 3 to take a tackle. So I'm sticking with that logic. I think they're actually going to go tackle here. For some reason, I don't know why, I do feel as if Tua is not going to be picked in the top 5. So we are going to go. There's a lot of hype around Tristan Wirfs from his combine. Guy's very strong, very agile, very fast. And I think it's either him or Mekhi Becton. I don't think Andrew Thomas has enough oomph at the moment with draft hype. So we're going to go Tristan Wirfs here, just because I think insane talent when it comes to offensive line in terms of athleticism. Number 6, the Chargers. If Tua falls this far, I think they might have to take him. However, their defense was lacking last year. So, I mean, it's hard to pass up on Isaiah Simmons. But knowing the Chargers franchise, they're going to want to get a quarterback. They're never this high. They usually luck out with defensive players when they fall anyways. So let's just go with Tua Tagovailoa. Okay, so number 7, we have the Panthers. And, I mean, this one's going to be an obvious pick. Isaiah Simmons fell this far. It's like you can't pass him up. You just can't. So, I mean, unless they go Derek Brown or Javon Kinlaw here, which I can see happening, even C.J. Henderson. Man, I do not like the idea of Isaiah Simmons falling to the Jaguars the same way that Josh Allen did last year. I don't think it's going to happen. I think people are way too hyped on Isaiah Simmons, and he's not gonna escape the top 7. If he does, then I think any pick outside the top 3 is a steal to get Isaiah Simmons. Number 8, I think this is a possible trade down spot as well. And the Cardinals, they need a left tackle, but Mekhi and Andrew, I believe, are both left tackles. I think I'm gonna go Andrew Thomas here though. Mekhi Becton. The hype is so big around Mekhi. And all right, simple logic here. Kyler Murray's 5'10", and I mean he's more like 5'8", but whatever. He's 5'10", and Mekhi Becton's 6'7". I think they're going to go with a little bit shorter of an offensive tackle here. They're going to get a solid offensive tackle. One of my top in the class, if not my top tackle, and Andrew Thomas. And they're going to make sure Kyler can actually see over his line. And don't need to have him like 30 yards behind the line of scrimmage in order to see where to pass. All right, number 9 here. This is a very interesting pick because right now we're looking at Derek Brown, Javon Kinlaw, and C.J. Henderson. And there's rumors that he's top 10, and I think there's a reason for that. I think that reason is because the Jaguars miss their ultimate corner duo in A.J. Boye and Jalen Ramsey. So we're going to go C.J. Henderson here. Number 10, we got the Browns. Browns, they need a tackle badly. I mean, this has been like a known fact for a while. A lot of people were saying they bring in a wide receiver because you get the number 1 wide receiver instead of like the number 4, number 5 tackle. And they said they're hinted at loving Ezra Cleveland. So I think in the real draft, the Browns are going to trade down with maybe a team like the Eagles. Prediction. And they're going to wait to take Ezra Cleveland at, I think, pick 21. So right now, if they had to pick here, they were obviously favoring an offensive tackle right now with Ezra Cleveland. So I think they're going to go Mekhi Becton. What? They say they like Ezra. We're going to give them Ezra. I mean, there's a reason why they like him. So Ezra, I mean, we saw last year with Chris Lindstrom, and then the run on tackles late in the first round. And those guys were all predicted like 3rd round prospects. So I don't think a second or like early second, late first prospect of moving up to the top 10 is that big of a deal. All right, Jets, they're not going to pass up Mekhi Becton here, or do they? I think there's a big split here because Mekhi Becton to Jerry Jeudy. There's a lot of hype around Henry Ruggs, but I think there's more doubt around Henry Ruggs than Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb. And Mekhi Becton is just a monster. But they did just invest a ton of money in Le'Veon Bell last year. So I think they saw how crappy Le'Veon Bell was without an offensive line, and I think they're going to go offensive line here. No, they just got rid of Robbie Anderson. We're going Jerry Jeudy. Sorry. Just the way it's going to go. All right, Raiders. Raiders are going to realize that if they don't get CeeDee Lamb or Henry Ruggs here, they're screwed. They're screwed in terms of wide receivers, and they need one badly. So they're going to take the best wide receiver in the class, CeeDee Lamb. All right, Niners. They need quite a lot of weapons here, and I think I'm going to Javon Kinlaw here. People are not going to like this pick at all. Not going to like this pick at all, but I think that this provides a great opportunity in order to replenish what you lost in DeForest Buckner and have someone on a cheap contract for 5 years. Javon Kinlaw. Number 14, we got the Bucks. Like, ooh, man, you got Mekhi and Henry Ruggs here. That right tackle spot is hurting. Mekhi Becton can fill in. I mean, we're going to go there. They need a running back and a tackle horribly bad. And if Mekhi Becton falls that far, I think that his upside is just too much to pass up on. Broncos, this one would be one of the easiest picks in the draft. Henry Ruggs, the 3rd. So we're on to the Falcons. Falcons need corners as well as defensive line. And they haven't had really a strong defensive line for quite some time. So I'm going to go with Derek Brown. It's kind of weird to think about Derek Brown falling this far, but he's a solid talent. I still think he's a top 10 talent, but defensive line, it makes sense how he can fall because he's more of just a run stuffer than anything. And you may be like, oh, well, you just took Javon Kinlaw a couple picks earlier. Javon Kinlaw has more of that pass rushing ability. So we're going on to the Cowboys. Cowboys, they need corner horribly, but there is Kayvon Chason on the board, and they need safeties. But I think they're going to go A.J. Terrell here, more of like a number 1 cornerback option. And he's coming from Clemson. You're able to replace what you lost from Byron Jones. I don't think it's the best pick. I think he's like a late 2nd, early 3rd prospect. But can't fault the Cowboys for trying to fill a need right there. All right, Dolphins. They got a stud tackle at 5. And honestly, Justin Herbert fell this far to him. They might pull the trigger. If he falls this far, I think they will pull it. Like in real life, they'd pull the trigger. So, you know what, take him at number 18. I wouldn't take Justin Herbert really here, but I wouldn't fault them for it. 19, Raiders, they need cornerback help badly. And really isn't too much on the board, but I love Jalen Johnson. I love Jalen Johnson. One of my favorite players in the draft. I think he's gonna go here. Yeah, I can't really see him falling out of the first round, to be honest. So cheers to Jalen. He goes number 19. All right, we're going on to number 20. And I think this is more of a luxury pick at the idea of, holy shit, we can have Caleb Von Chase on at number 20. And like you may say, oh, Caleb Vaughn's only ranked 17. It's like the only reason he's ranked 17 is because he has somewhat of a bust factor because the guy's athletically great, but he had some games where he just didn't look technically sound. They could take Grant Delpit here, but he can't tackle. And they can take Xavier McKinney. But I like the idea of Caleb Von Chase on here. Just get the best player potentially on the board. And they just got rid of Campbell, so I think they can replace that possible like edge presence, even though I know that Campbell doesn't really play that type of role, but why not just add a little bit of extra prowess to that defense? Also, for a guy's name, outside linebacker who's getting kind of old, starts with a T. I don't even know. Whatever. We're at the Eagles. They need a wide receiver badly. If they don't trade up from this point, they need an offensive tackle, dude. But I mean, they do have the kid they drafted last year to replace. So I'm gonna go Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson could honestly be the first wide receiver off the board. Watch out for that. Kind of sneaky, kind of crazy to me, but in a realistic situation, I can see Justin Jefferson going here. A lot of people, I think Daniel Jeremiah had Ayuk going here. I wouldn't think that he can sneak that high above Justin Jefferson. I don't think the hype's there. But number 22, we have the Vikings. Vikings, they need a lot of things. They need so many things. I can't really think of what they would. They need a wide receiver badly, but what are they going to try to get? You know, you can get Jalen Reagor, speedster, Ayuk, guy after the catch, really good, or Denzel Mims, which is just like he's a tall speedster with a lot of potential. So, in this draft, they could go corner as well. You have Jeff Gladney here, Christian Fulton, and I think this is where Christian Fulton goes. I think they're going to reach a little bit. Honestly, they wouldn't take Diggs just because they just got rid of his brother, you know? So, whatever. Patriots, they said they're sticking to Jarrett Stidham. I ain't going to call their bluff. I think that no, they're not going to let Jordan Love slip past this. I would give him Grant Delpit, but I think that if Jordan Love actually falls this far, I don't think he's going to be going past the Patriots. As somebody who, if Bill Belichick coaches properly and McDaniels is able to develop the right team around him, then they could be set up for the future because this guy has a lot of potential, but big bust factor. And you never know. I think that if he falls that far, like realistically, I'm kind of pulled here, but we'll see what happens. Number 24, I mean, this is a no-brainer pick. They need a linebacker, and it's either Kenneth Murray or Patrick Queen, and I think there's too much hype around Patrick Queen. So we'll just give him Patrick Queen. I don't think it's the right move. I think he should go a little bit later in the first, but who am I to fault them, right? So we're back with the Vikings, and I think this is where they take their wide out. They're going to go Jalen Reagor here. I think that that's a solid pick, and it adds that speed weapon to where they can actually stretch the field for Kirk Cousins' play action pass. So they have the run game when it comes to Dalvin Cook, and now they're going to be able to stretch the field with Jalen Reagor. Interesting pick, obviously, but whatever. So we're back with the Dolphins. They have Justin Herbert. They have their starting tackle for the future, they still need offensive tackle. They still need offensive line. So to me, it's a debate between Josh Jones and Cesar Ruiz. And I mean, tackle is the most valuable position in the NFL when it comes to offensive line, of course. So we're gonna go Josh Jones. I like him here. They have their two solidified tackle positions now, and Josh Jones was super consistent at Houston. I think he's going to be a great talent. So number 27, we have the Seattle Seahawks, and they need edge, they need interior offensive line, they need offensive tackle. What better to give them than my guy Isaiah Wilson, who can fit all of those needs? I think he can slide in and play. I think that's what he should do, but then he can also slide out. So I was thinking about Austin Jackson here because there's a lot of hype around my guy Austin Jackson, but I think Isaiah Wilson, teams will see that, like, oh, he has the ability to kick into guard as well. And Austin Jackson's more this super young, raw prospect that they're probably not too solidified on. Number 28, the Ravens. Man, would it be interesting if Grant Delpit went to the Ravens, wouldn't it? It would be. But they really need a linebacker. Kenneth Murray fits that system so well. So we're going to go Kenneth. I could also see him going with a guy like Austin Jackson just because you had Yonda leave, and then Jackson's so young and raw that you could probably stick him on the inside and, let him mature and grow there. So watch out for an offensive line pick there. Honestly, watch out for an offensive line pick. So even Cushenberry, I could see Cushenberry like sneaking up into this part. Number 29, we have the Titans. I think like they already have their safeties pretty covered, but it wouldn't hurt to take a guy this point in the draft with that type of talent, But Yetur Gross-Matos does have a little bit of buzz going around him. I honestly can see Zach Bond going here. People like that type of pick gives me the vibes of TJ Watt, but AJ Epineza, it's very similar to some of the picks that they lost. We're going to go AJ Epineza. So number 30, we have the Green Bay Packers. They need wide receivers so badly. And sorry to say it, but I'm going Brandon Ayuk here. I think it's somebody who's going to be much more scheme fitting to Matt LaFleur in that college style offense. I think Denzel Mims will actually fall. Kind of similar to DK Metcalf, but DK Metcalf had a little bit more talent than Mims ever had. So we're going to go Ayuk here. I've been hearing a lot of first round buzz with him. So the Niners, they need corner. But they say they're confident in their corners, but I don't know if Jeff Gladney can slip past this point, They do need offensive line still, so let's check out the board really quick. They just signed their safety to a long-term contract, so kind of takes that out of the picture at the moment. Denzel Mims is still on the board, and you still have Cesar Ruiz. And if Cesar Ruiz is on the board, you can't let him pass this point. You can't. You really can't. So, like, get a steal, Cesar Ruiz, be able to lock up that offensive line, give Jimmy G a little bit more time, and then take a wide receiver a little bit more down the line with this stacked wide receiver class. And then lastly, with the 32nd pick, Chiefs, I hate to bore you guys. I mean, this is a simple pick. It's Jeff Gladney. They have their two safeties. They have Tyrann Mathieu. They have Juan Thornhill, who actually turned out to be a really solid talent. So why not stick with Jeff Gladney, be able to replace, I believe they lost Kendall Fuller back to the Redskins. So, get your guy out of TCU, be able to at least have something there on the cornerbacking core, and then you're solid. So let's go Jeff Gladney here out of TCU. That wraps up the first round. So going over this again, got Joe Burrow, Chase Young, Okudah, Wills, Wirfs, Tua, Isaiah, Andrew. I honestly, like, Ezra's the big shocker here, but I think, like, I could just imagine this swapped with the Eagles right here. Honestly, don't be surprised if Justin Jefferson goes number 10. I'm going to be 100% honest. Watch it, because the Eagles might be like, oh, shoot. What are they called? The Raiders, they're going to want Justin Jefferson. So I could see him moving up and taking him, and then just literally just swap these two, swap Justin Jefferson and then Ezra Cleveland, and I think you're pretty solid. And yeah, I mean, you got Derek Brown here falling. AJ Terrell sneaks into the first as taken above Jalen Johnson, just because I think AJ Terrell gives people some uh, Trayvon Mullen vibes, and Trayvon Mullen's a solid starter for the Raiders. Oh wow, that'd be an interesting core. Jalen Johnson and if AJ Terrell fell, that'd be interesting. Two identical corners on the team, but whatever. Caleb on Chase on, and then you have Christian Fulton, Jordan Love going to the Patriots. If he falls that far, I mean, I think Bill will be like, you know what, screw it, let's just try. So we'll see what happens. Patrick Queen, Rager, Jones. So I mean, Ayuk sneaking in instead of Mims is interesting, but I think it's very realistic. And yeah, so that's the draft. Let me know what you guys think. We'll revisit this when we see what actually happens. Um, who knows? Maybe I'm right, and I'm 99.9% sure I'm wrong. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.